Now, you didn't know each other at that point.
Not at all.
How did you meet, Dorothy?
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Apparently, well, not apparently, Lynne was at the airport before I was there. I was heading out of town. Wasn't even aware of the accident, and she shared with me that God put her on my heart immediately. She was asking for me, and so later that day, my friends Don and Faye took me to see Lynne, took me to Port Perry.
Now, this is Don and Faye Simmons. Don,
Yeah.
who's now the Chief Executive Officer of the Crossroads Ministry.
Exactly. So they took me to see Lynne. And I arrived at the door, and Lynne greeted me at her sister's house. So she greets me, she hugs me, and we're crying. And her first sentence to me was, "Dorothy, you're not to feel any guilt about this." It's her. And then she doesn't remember this part, and then she took me inside and she says, "Let me introduce you to Glenn." And she showed me his picture. And
How many,
Yeah.
how many years had you been married to Glenn?
38.
38. And you'd been married to Micky 20?
20.
20. Why that first sentence to Dorothy? Why you don't have to feel any guilt?
Jim, I can only say it was God.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, you know, it was an amazing thing. We got to the airport, and just the initial obvious shock and breakdown. But my mind just went into, it just clicked into a mode that I can't explain. The first thing I said to my sister, we must contact our children. And I mean, every number, every telephone number in South Africa just kept coming into my mind. And then I just kept thinking, there's another lady out there who's in the same situation as I am, who's a widow suddenly, who, you know, and I just needed to see her. And it never, the fact of an accident or, you know, of a blame or anything, just never crossed my mind. And I was just so anxious just to, I don't know, God gave me that need.
Did you need to hear this from her? Like, were you already feeling guilty about this? Or was it too soon to feel guilty about anything?
Yeah, I don't think I was yet, to be honest, but yet I needed to hear that. Because when I look back or think back and just everything that did come afterwards, just, I mean, that sentence, like, it's stuck in my mind. And it allowed me, I've been able to go to South Africa and see her children and be able to say sorry.
And what response did you get from the children?
They're like Lynne. Like, they just loved me. Like, I just felt like such a part of the family there. It was so incredible.
Do the two of you have any sense that there's a broader purpose in all of this? I know we have a tendency sometimes to maybe spiritualize our life situations, but as you have interacted, it's only been 3 years, but you know, as you've got on with your lives, do you see something bigger at work here?
Absolutely. I just have such a testimony for 5 years of build-up to that point that I could sit here for hours and tell you of things that I can see in retrospect, how God was in control. And I just need to, I think I can only but share the actual why Glenn and why I was here in Canada, because I was not coming with Glenn. I was not going to be here. I was going to be in South Africa whilst he flew over to be at his niece's wedding. My mother and I had been over in the January to my niece's wedding. And at the same time, Glenn's niece had announced her engagement to be married on the 2nd of August. On the day of my niece's wedding, my sister-in-law and her husband were about to leave to come down from Sarnia to Port Perry for the wedding. and my brother-in-law had a major stroke. So when I got back to South Africa, I said to my husband, darling, you need to go. You need to be with your sister and family for the wedding. So there was only enough for one fare, so he was going to come on his own. We booked him in about March, and about 6 weeks prior to him leaving, which was to fly out on my birthday on the 28th of July, I got a call from a lady who said, Lynne, I would like you to come and work for me in Boston. I normally go and work in Britain. I'm a midwife, and she said, I would like you to come and work for me in Boston. Now, Glenn was going to be spending 2 weeks with his sister and flying out back home on the 14th of August. And I said, I'm really sorry, but I don't have the fare. She said, no problem. She said, I'm paying for everything. She said, how would you like to go via Britain to visit your family? So I said, wow, it would be wonderful if I could go with my husband, go to the wedding, spend some time. What date do you want me? The 14th of August. Mm-hmm. That is no coincidence. It's a God incident.
And you know, if we had a lot more time, I'm sure there'd be a lot more of these God incidents, as you call them. But it was important that you be there, if for no other reason, to meet Dorothy, right?
I can't even begin to imagine what it would be.
Now,
like
you've got one of you brought a picture of. Is this the airport the day of the?
Oh yeah.
No,
I'm glad.
what do you see there? I think I can see what you see there.
Yeah. That was taken that evening, right directly above the accident site.
Looks like a cross to me.
Sure does.
Can you see what's up in the right-hand corner?
Looks like an airplane, doesn't it?
It is.
Oh, it is.
No, it's a cloud formation.
Oh,
of an
I see.
airplane.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So
we got 2 minutes. What you were going to say what?
I was going to say that we know that God was in control, and that's where her testimony was that. Mine is when I was leaving the airport that day, leaving the office that day to leave for an appointment. When the accident happened, I was listening to a CD called God is in Control. And I should have been listening to 680 News. I always do. I listen to the CD all the way down and all the way back from an appointment. And together we've realized through all our testimonies, from all our incidences, that God is in control, and that is our testimony. And we can stand here and say, you know, without God, there's no way we'd be a mess.
Now, my 32-year-old daughter just became a widow just a few months ago. Her husband killed in Africa.
I'm sorry.
She and her 3 children are now living with us. How much time can we add? 1 minute, okay. What counsel would you give her in terms of the process of grieving?
Just to just trust and really trust. It's a growth, but God does come through. He is real. He's not just someone we talk about. He is real.
What should she do when she feels totally alone, even though she's with us? When she's sleeping in that bed all by herself?
Not to be afraid to cry, because Jesus cried at Lazarus' tomb, and he understands, he knows. Obviously we cry.
You still cry?
Obviously,
oh,
yes.
Yeah.
There are times and moments when something, it won't be necessarily an anniversary or birthday, but it'll just be something that will be said, or a moment that will just bring back
right now
memories.
it's all these firsts, you know, her birthday, her daughter's birthday.
Those are always difficult.
Little boy's birthday coming up in a few weeks. This is a gripping story, and I really appreciate the fact that you've come by. You're modeling something here for our audience that's profound and powerful. And we wish you a safe flight back to South Africa.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dorothy Jovkovic, Lynne Paterson. Appreciate it.